Figures from the National Bureau of Statistics announced that the country recorded 3.51 trillion naira in the fourth quarter of 2015. The statistics also show that a total of 3,347 ocean-going vessels have called at Nigeria's shores so far in 2016, estimated at about over 100 million metric tons. As these men continue the till and help in logistics, the practice is plagued with issues around nomenclature, training, capacity, and how to improve the processes.
The problem in Nigeria is that sometimes those that make the call are uninformed. Often time and time again, you have somebody, for example, that is MD of NPA that doesn't even understand what NPA does, and he has to learn on the job. Or you have an administrator of customs that is an ex-military man, because it is perceived that an average custom man is corrupt. So a military man is brought there who probably will now have to learn on the job.
Yet, there are still the bigger challenges encountered by way of interactions with the numerous members of the ecosystem, which inhibits performance or slows it down.
The challenges are quite enormous. Like if you get to Apapa today, you can see the roads are bad. It's one of the hindrances. If you get to Apapa 2 or rather any other seaport, you find out that government agencies are many. And we need to streamline them down. It's unlike other ports all over the world. And if you say that the government is trying to ease businesses, that means making sure ease of doing business and making sure that within 24 hours the goods is out. Why must you bring all the structures of the government into one part? So these are the areas we have to look at very critically. And we have to look at even to us, those who are actually practitioners, the freight forwarders, the custom brokers, those who are licensed. If you're not licensed, you're not supposed to be there. You have to have a certification to know that you're going to do the right things. So in case if you have done anything wrong, one knows a place to hold you on. Like you came to my office now and they said, this is fixed address and this is a man you're talking to. You know me and you put my business to my face. And that's what it's all about. So we have so many bottlenecks of government agencies, our freight forwarders and the custom brokers not actually in conformity with the trend of business. And some quacks that are actually living behind that, actually giving us bad names. Even some other transportation, road networking, the centralizing of ports. It mustn't be Apapa or Tinkan ports. How about Eastern ports? Can't we encourage Calabar port? What is wrong with Warri port? What is One is even working? What is Port Harcourt seaport is not functioning to its capacity? So we should do all this. Okay, how about the bonding warehouses? Like I'm a director of ICNL Kaduna and Kano. What is wrong with the trains taking all these goods as effective as possible to take them to ports, to Kano and Kaduna? So it mustn't be, you see, we have clustered Tinkan and Apapa so badly, and the roads are very narrow. The roads are just two in road and out road and out bridges. So it's going to take a whole lot of things out. So we need to begin to decongest the areas. And again, you can see that almost 20 to 30 oil and gas tank farms are there. Are concentrated there, for those areas. And you find that everybody wants to come and pick products, either liquefied products or solid products or bulk cargo products. And you find that everybody is rushing to Tinkan and Apapa. It's a big problem.
Infrastructural challenge breeds inefficiency and corruption. If the required resources at the various operational bays are inadequate, the tendency is to introduce attitudes of paying your way to skip the long queues and man-made bottlenecks, which erodes profitability and increases cost of production. On the one part, there are myriads of challenges confronting these practitioners that are quite external. The other side of the coin will mean eliminating challenges of internal workings, at least that they can control. Freight and logistics companies will need to deal with numerous issues in the years ahead. For example, as trade routes become more competitive and as trade rates fall, the industry's traditional bargaining power with its shippers' volume will be challenged. One important strategy to counter this challenge, according to experts, is to use balance sheet strength to acquire niche players in important trade routes and geographies, especially in emerging markets.
If you wake up in the morning and there is an announcement by the federal government that the duty on the vehicle now is 50% as against 25%, you cannot just bring a check and say, "This here, I had this 25%. Here is my check. Give me my car." No. There has to be an amendment in the tariff. It has to be gazetted. Sometimes you have to wait for the gazette from the PAMSEC Ministry of Finance, and by the time it trickles down to the port, the goods have entered demurrage.
Who pays?
The owner pays.
For what he knows?
Absolutely. And that is the drawback in international trade. And that adds to your cost of production. And that can be a killer, because in most cases you did not factor it into your cost.
Another key to growth and profitability will be the ability to analyze customers' need and then respond quickly with differentiated and advanced logistics solutions. That will require better IT tools to improve internal process efficiency and to generate analysis that result in deeper understanding of customers, industries, and business processes. The Nigerian Shippers Council has a lot of role to play as regards performance anatomy, and the Executive Secretary has some directional aids for the trade facilitators.
I want to make our association very professional. A situation where when you see a freight forwarder or custom brokers, you stop calling him a clearing agent. You give him a name that is due, is a fellow chartered, and they must be seen as that way. He must represent himself too. The important thing is to represent yourself very well and be very proud of yourself. Self-esteem. I must put a self-esteem to them. I must make them know that what they are doing is a noble profession all over the world. And they have to do it according to guidelines, government guidelines. It's important. Because if you do according to what government wants, you will never be found wanting. Yeah. Nobody will call you any sorts of names because you'll be proud of yourself. You are open for accountability, you are open for scrutiny, and people will look at you very genuinely. Like I told you, most of my clients, I don't know them all over the world, and I'm doing business with them. Sometimes I visit them, sometimes we go to Dubai, we meet on the points. Sometimes I go to China, oh, is it Mr. Tony? But we have been doing business for 4, 5, 6 years ago. So it mustn't be all about what people think about Nigerians. We must have to change the concept. My coming to presidency of our Association of Nigerian Licensed Custom Agents is to change the concept, to make sure that people will look at us with dignity. We must have to wear that dignity within us. We must do the things right. We must be in total compliance with import guidelines and procedures. We must have to be seen as more serious business partners. The way people see other noble professions is the way they should see us. But we have to do it first. We have to comply accordingly. We have to do things right.
The number of regulators, rather than make for efficiency, have become suspects in the case of ease of doing business, which the presidency has adopted and is vigorously pursuing. Are we likely to see a compressed operation?
We need to compress this. We need to abridge these things. And that's why we have the port community system or national single window. It's one-stop shop where everything, including payment, is done centrally. This will cut out the bureaucracy. It will break down. It will simplify. And even more importantly, it makes it more transparent so that the government does not lose its revenue.
Currently, there are two main associations guiding the activities of the trade facilitators. We have the Association of Government-Approved Freight Forwarders, NAGAF, and the Association of Nigeria Licensed Custom Agents, ANCAL. Clearly, they have moved the practice, which though it is still a work in progress, from the traditional functions of documentations, booking and coordinating freights, arranging ancillary services like paying charges and dues to carriers, port, and customs, to a height of expertise in the various industries they serve, aligning themselves with customer operations, processes, industry know-how, and technology deployment. International trade has spurred tremendous economic growth across the globe, raising incomes, creating jobs, reducing prices, and increasing earning power. In climes where holistic and integrated strategies have been deployed, freight logistics, the customer, government, and indeed the practitioners are better for it. Nigeria needs to set its part on this trajectory to integrate its systems. That's our package this week. Keep it there with us next time. Thanks and bye for now.